how about we start off with some Oscar talks?
Sure.
All right, did you watch it?
What was your? Yeah, I saw it. I saw it.
Before I let you continue, let me set this up. Remember that there was
Okay.
this controversy saying, hey, all the nominees, etc., are all white people. There are no black
Yeah.
actors nominated, no black films nominated, and then this big blow up about saying, hey, where are the people of color in this industry? I think Will Smith, his wife, and others saying, hey, I'll boycott this Oscar. I won't attend it. And
Right.
okay, so that's the thing right there. Okay, and then the Academy did some changing some rules, hopefully trying to integrate more people of color into their voting process, etc. All right, you take it from there.
Well, and then there's the Ask Me More, which is the thing that I think happened on Twitter, which is with the women movement. Why are they constantly asking these women about what they're wearing instead of about their movies? So there's that going on too, and equal pay for women. So that's all up there, and Chris Rock just handled it pretty well. He kind of took a step back and go, hey, look, I mean, this is not intentional racist thing going on in Hollywood. It's one of those things that are noticeable that it's probably because the execs, because of the decision makers are probably mostly white. Of course, they green light films that feature mostly white people. At the same time, he said they didn't go out there and go, hey, we only want white people to be in these movies. It's just that there aren't as many opportunities for people of color to be in these movies. His whole thing with the Ask Me More with women is he's like, well, I mean, yeah, I thought what he said was pretty on point because he's like, look, if George Clooney's wearing some lime green tuxedo with feathers coming out of his ass, he would be asking him, hey, George, what are you wearing? But yeah, I screwed up his joke, but you get the point.
That's why he's the comedian and you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
Just the environment we live in, right? I mean, the majority of the stories are feature white people because, hey, those are the movies that makes money. I'm sure if all these Chinese movies make money, they'll bring them in. They'll cast all these Chinese actors. It's the same thing with here. It's like whatever is making money, they'll pour money in. They'll pour the resources in.
Yeah, that's true too. It's one of those chicken and egg things. So I feel like because these are the movies that make money, so then they cast all these white people in these movies, which means so few people of color. Well, that's another thing. They mentioned black a lot, but Asians are just bad, if not worse. It's one of those chicken and egg things because they get so few opportunities. They don't really have much in their resume, which leads to less opportunities. And I think that what Chris Rock said was, hey, give us more opportunities. What I thought he said was kind of on point, and why is, hey, just give us more opportunities. Put more black people in your movies. Put more Asians. Put more Latinos. Put more people of color in your movies. Then they have a resume. Then they can actually draw in people. The problem is now a lot of them don't have any resume, and they don't really have anything to show. And because they don't have a resume, they don't have these opportunities. And then the only people you can hire are the predominantly white people.
Yes, and I see the light in this is online, Netflix. It is because the structure is such that, hey, there's only so many slots that you can slot movies in. Of course, you're going to slot the movies that you think will make the most money, right? That has the best bang for the buck. But with online, it's kind of like Amazon, right? They sell almost virtually everything, right? They don't need the shelf space, for example, right? Online, you don't need the shelf space also. The way forward here is online. Netflix or Hulu or whatever, or whoever's funding these online initiatives. And I think that's where it will go.
Yeah, there's that. And TV, I mean, you definitely see a more diverse cast on TV than in the movies.
Yeah, but TV also have the same problem as movie is that there are time slots. It's not on demand. It's like, okay, we need to make the best of our thing at 7 o'clock. That's because that's when most people are watching, and we need, the best movie, and that might not feature the stories. They have a lot of diversities, people.
Yeah, well, by TV, I include cable too. You do see more diversity on TV though, even on your local news. You do see more people of color. You see Asians, you see blacks. Although on the local news channels, all the Asians or women, you almost never see any Asian guy anchoring a local news program. But in general, I think TV is more diverse than the movies. And the thing is, I don't think people are saying, hey, put Asians in every movie and put blacks in every movie and put Latinos in every movie. They're pretty much asking for more representative of the population. Like, Asians make up like 5% of the population in the U.S. In Hollywood, they're just 1%.
Yeah, I mean, just take for example a show that takes place in LA. LA has a huge Asian population. All the doctors are probably Asian. Well, most of them anyway, right? But they cast white actors as doctors, right? So there are
Yeah.
those. But hey,
Yeah.
it's getting better, is what we're saying.
Hopefully, in general, it's getting better.
There is an effort right now, I think, to do something because of this blow up.
Yeah.
People are complaining, actively complaining. There are people like George Clooney or whoever, all the big name actors are saying, hey, let's do something about it. They support this effort.
But in general, you do see more diversity on TV than in the movies. And I think on the Asian side, because of China, because the China market has grown so much, they'll probably cast more Asians in movies just to appeal to that market.
Yeah, but still this kind of like cameo thing where they come and help them out a bit, and then okay, thanks for the help, guys, bye.
Yeah, it's still not quite there yet, but I'm saying right now there's probably more of an effort. They're like, whoa, the China market is so huge, we gotta
true.
We gotta appeal to that.
How about we move on to the awards show itself, the winners? I think we spent time on those. Okay, so what surprised you? Any surprises for you here?
I guess it's not surprising. I guess I wanted Stallone to win the Best Supporting Actor for Creed, but he didn't. It's not that the actor from Bridge of Spies didn't deserve it, but I guess I was rooting for Stallone. But the biggest surprise was a Spotlight winning Best Picture, of course.
Oh yeah, we knew coming in that it was Spotlight, The Big Short, and The Revenant.
The Revenant has so much momentum going for it, and the Oscars again chose a smaller film. I thought The Big Short would probably win just because, The Big Short kind of clawed its way to 60, almost 69 million at the box office. And Spotlight did not bad, 40 million, but, I thought The Big Short kind of clawed its way into the mainstream, whereas Spotlight was getting there, but, not quite. And then they ended up giving it to the smaller movie, like the year that Hurt Locker. I mean, Hurt Locker was the small, tiny, almost no box office at all.
Yeah, but the Hurt Locker is at a time where it's politically charged. It's political, I feel.
Sure, there's that too. But it was a tiny, tiny film. It barely, I think at the box office, it only made less than 10 million, I think.
Well, this is the second year in a row where a small movie won. Last year was Birdman, right? This year was a Big Short. I mean, do you think that there's a conscious effort out there to, hey, let's vote for the small movie instead of the blockbusters that makes a lot of money?
Yeah. So the Hurt Locker made 17 million, which is one of the lowest grossing Best Picture winners ever. It seems like, there's definitely a, like you said, a kind of a conscious effort to reward smaller films rather than, like The Revenant, which has done so well at the box office. And even The Big Short did pretty well, but they rewarded Spotlight, the lowest grossing of the bunch.
And also, I think Spotlight is a movie that does not, it's kind of like an actor's movie. People actually acted in it instead of, hey, you have this green screen, you have this car chasing down you, have this bear, but Spotlight and The Big Short, those movies are like, hey, people actually acted. So maybe there is that going for the movie as well. I think the biggest block are actors.
That's true too. In the past, they tend to reward for the Best Picture movie. They tend to reward films that are great in everything, like production design, special effects, acting, screenwriting. They tend to reward films that are overall that are kind of good in everything. That's
the total
Best
package,
Picture.
right?
Yeah, the total package. But recently, this seems like they want to reward films that didn't get a chance to reach the mainstream.
Right. And here's another question, right? Do you think there's a sense that for voters, right, everyone's going to vote for The Revenant anyway. How about I be different and vote for Spotlight? Do you think there's that too?
Yeah, there's probably that too. And some people have also said that The Revenant was a little bit too gory, not something that your average Academy Award voters would vote for because it's not something that's easy to watch. Let's put it this way. But Spotlight is also timely, like you said, with maybe The Hurt Locker is also kind of timely because everyone thinks that investigative journalism is dead. spotlight that, hey, this investigative journalism is very important in our society. And in the internet age, the trend is to write quick and to post quickly smaller stories, but do it more quickly and do more of them instead of these writing that takes a long time to investigate. Basically, old form journalism. And spotlight is one of those things that it's like, hey, investigative journalism is very important. We should put more money into it. And plus, of course, the main thing is the whole outrage with all these kids getting molested and raped by all these priests. And all these priests, in turn, have been raped and molested by their predecessors. And then this whole system and there's this whole cover-up, massive cover-up going on.
Okay, so there's a sense that maybe the voters want people to watch this movie.
Yeah, there's a sense like maybe like the Hood Locker, it speaks to the times. It's something important that the voters wanted people to see and hear about.
Right, and so they vote for it and give it this press.
Yeah. Whereas the Revenant might be a very well-made movie and a very difficult to make movie, and it's very well acted and technically well crafted and all that stuff. But maybe the Revenant just seems to them like, it's a movie, it's make-believe, whereas Spotlight is about something that's kind of more relevant on our times, about subject that matters in our time.
Right, so they think that it's the more important movie, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. So there's that. And hey, the other surprise? It's George Miller receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award for Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah. but it seems like Mad Max won most of the technical categories.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, hey, that's his Lifetime Achievement Award for
Yeah, I feel like it would have been more of a Lifetime Achievement Award if he had won Best Director. But it's something that going in that we kind of suspected that, hey, Mad Max will probably clean up in the technical awards and the other films will win the bigger categories.
Right. Inarritu is pretty much a lock, I felt. Like I say, they give Mad Max all these awards rewarding George Miller for his body of work, saying, hey, your movie's good, but not good enough. Here's some consolation prizes.
Yeah. I mean, like, your movie's good, but it's not something that we normally give awards to.
Right, as you said in your kind of shortest review, right? The Mad Max Fury Road was a movie kind of like directed by someone on drugs.
Yeah. I mean, Mad Max could have won back in the Titanic days. A movie that's nominated the most tend to win. And, Mad Max did have the most nominations, I think. Well, it had the most nominations. But in this case, they would rather do the Terminator 2 approach, give it all the technical awards.
Oh, right. It's just like we don't have a category for action movies, for example, and they give it to the technical awards, right? Like the Golden Globes, they break it into comedy and drama, which doesn't really mean anything, right? This is kind of like, we also have the action genre that we want to reward for a job well done, and so that's where all the effects movies, all the action movies, all the adventure movies, that they lumped it all into that, the technical awards.
Yeah, right.
All right, I guess that's enough for the Oscars. I didn't watch it. It's surprising to me that Twilight won. Probably a lot of people too, but we knew going in that it might, it's one of the movies that could pull an upset if there is an upset, with The Big Short, right? Being the other one.
And since we're both from Sacramento, we have to give a shout out to Brie Larson for winning Best Actress for Womb. She's from Elk Grove.
All right. I never met her, don't know her, so I haven't seen her movie.
Yeah, me neither.
So Sacramento represents. Sacramento represents, right?
Yeah, since we're in Sacramento, we gotta give a shout out.